Good afternoon and welcome to the launch of the Human Capital Initiative Project Resilient Design Curriculum for 21st Century Design Professionals. I'm Jennifer Boyer, Vice President for Sustainability at TU Dublin, where we're prioritizing the transformation of our curriculum and skills delivery and are committed to this project at the highest level in the university. This exciting initiative recognizes and resources a 3-year funded plan at €3.96 million, which will act as a catalyst to changing our architectural curriculum at a national level, working closely with our professional body to address the urgent challenges of climate change and sustainable housing. The project partners, who you will meet soon, will present to you our project deliverables, which over the next 3 years will build capacity across the sector through new knowledge, skills, and pedagogies for the students of architecture, architectural educators, industry practitioners, and across the construction sector as a whole. The project will pilot a radical revision to create a new resilient design curriculum, which embeds the targets of the UN SDGs with particular focus on Ireland's national priorities of climate action and housing for all. This project's approach will adopt agile models of cooperation, collaboration, and co-learning to create an ecosystem of action and inspiration for all involved. The Resilient Design Curriculum Project was founded by a unique consortium whom I've had the pleasure of working with over the last number of years and who represent the entire academic discipline area of architecture within Ireland. All partners are led here today from their universities and will offer, all partners leads are here from the universities that architecture is offered in our national higher education system today. And this project's intent is to prompt a national step change in our professional curriculum through an accelerated and inclusive and exciting participatory process. The project has a potential for all our students and universities to show leadership by creating change that has a real global impact beyond the edges of this island, as we can already see from those evidenced here today joining us internationally and from abroad. On behalf of the project partners, I'd like to thank all of the architecture students nationally who are passionate and committed to being part of a discipline that can vision and create a sustainable future for us all. To the architectural educators and practitioners who are living and working through the challenges of a rapidly changing external environment, but yet who remain committed to the professional delivery of relevant graduates into our industry. And to our enterprise partners who have joined today, who have extensive experience, knowledge, and expertise, which they have shared with us and contributed to the development of this project over the last number of years. It is great to finally be at this point to begin our work in earnest together with curriculum pilots launching this September with our students. Thank you very much to the department and to the Higher Education Authority for making this project possible. And thank you, Minister Harris, Ireland's Minister for Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science, for your support and for joining us live here today as we set out on this journey. I now invite you, Minister, to make the opening address for our project launch.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and thank you for the warm welcome, and thank you to everybody for taking time to join us on this important virtual launch this afternoon. I'm delighted to be here with you virtually today as Ireland's Minister for Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science, and it gives me great pleasure and satisfaction to launch the HCI project, Resilient Design Curricula for 21st Century Professionals. This is a big moment, and I know an awful lot of work has gone into getting us to this moment. The Resilient Design Curricula will adopt agile models of cooperation, of collaboration and co-learning with profession and industry to engender the knowledge and the skills necessary to reduce significantly the carbon impact of construction on the environment and demonstrate the societal value of inclusive, safe and resilient design. And I must say, when you look, and you outlined it very well, Jennifer, the twin challenges that we face as a country and as a world in terms of providing enough homes for people, but also managing to tackle the climate emergency. This is a project that helps address both. And I really think that's the beauty of this project, making sure that as we construct more, as we design more, as we develop more, that we do so in a manner that is complementary to, rather than contradictory to, addressing the other massive global challenge of climate crisis. I really want to congratulate you as Curricula Lead, Jennifer Boyer, the Vice President of Sustainability at TU Dublin. I want to thank you for your leadership. I want to thank everybody in the Resilient Design Curricula team. We have 6 schools of architecture in the Republic of Ireland that have partnered on this proposal, 7 institutional partners in total: TU Dublin, UCD, the Technological University of the South East, the University of Limerick, Atlantic Technological University, and UCC MTU, where I know they jointly run the Cork Centre for Architectural Education. There are 45 partners in total that comprise the project team, just to give a sense of the scale of this collaboration. And I know that it's the wish of everyone to work together collaboratively with the profession and with industry to engender that knowledge and those skills necessary to address climate change, and to do so through a revised curriculum that prepares design professionals within the construction industry to deliver on our country's climate action plan. TU Dublin is our first technological university. We now have 5 and we're very proud of that fact, but TU Dublin is the first, and it is an institution with a deservedly excellent reputation. I'd also like to take this opportunity to commend and thank Professor David Fitzpatrick, President of TU Dublin, and his leadership, and congratulate this technological university on its success to date. I've had many occasions to extend congratulations to TU Dublin on a whole variety of fronts in recent weeks, and I'm delighted to be in a position to do so again today. In October 2020, my own department brought forward the Human Capital Initiative Pillar 3, and this is a pillar with a significant budget of around €200 million for 24 projects, and 19 of these involve collaborations between institutions over 5 years. Each of the projects align innovation and agility with national strategic objectives and with the future skills needs for our society and for our economy. Resilient Design Curricula, I'm delighted to say, is one of the successful innovative 24 projects led by TU Dublin with the collaborators and funded to the value of over €3.9 million. This is a project which will pilot radical revision in architectural education to prioritise the UN Sustainable Development Goals of climate action and of sustainable housing. I want to acknowledge the level of national importance of this project, and I mean that, inspiring and giving agency to students, to educators, to academic managers, and to the major contribution that enterprise partners will play in the Resilient Design Curricula project, and how important it is for higher education and industry to work together. We can't be siloed when it comes to addressing such massive national and global challenges. It is so important that higher education and industry work hand in glove to come up with sustainability solutions, and this project provides an opportunity to do that together over the next 3 years. I'd also like to mention the Royal Institute of Architects of Ireland, who is an important project partner responsible for aligning European professional competencies with our national standards and qualifications in relation to architectural education. Additional industry and enterprise partners are drawn from the building design, construction and development value chain to ensure that we have a really holistic and wide-ranging output potential. I know that the consortium is unique because it encompasses an entire discipline area, demonstrating demonstrating the potential, for meaningful global impact through national collaboration. Any of you who have followed my work and the work of my department in terms of higher education reform will know that we're really passionate and really believe in the importance of creating new pathways for people to reach their desired destination in life. And we believe that the best way you do that is through dialogue and through partnership. In the times that we live in, there is a responsibility on our universities to share their knowledge, share their expertise with public and private enterprise. We don't want to keep that expertise behind the walls of universities. We need to share that with society, share it with industry partners, share it with public enterprise. And indeed, likewise, the obligation is 2 ways. We require enterprise to share their expertise, their insights with higher education also. A renewed focus is currently being given to how we progress Ireland's commitment to Agenda 2030 for sustainable development. And my department, along with the Department of Education, are jointly developing our second national strategy on education for sustainable ESD out to 2030. This will of course be aligned with the UNESCO framework for ESD for 2030 and with our Sustainable Development Goal target 4.7. As well as being a target in and of itself, ESD is also considered as a key enabler for achieving all of the other sustainable development goals. The new strategy will embody a lifelong learning approach. It will span the continuum from early learning and care right through to third level education and research and beyond, to engage with local communities, with youth reach and with enterprise. It's envisaged that our new strategy and our accompanying implementation plan will be published in the coming weeks, so quite timely in terms of this event. The strategy will be implemented with the support from a range of government departments who will co-sponsor the implementation phase. So I want to take the opportunity today to thank and commend university leaders at every level who are developing and delivering sustainability impact through education reform, through curriculum development in critical areas such as climate change, social justice, and housing for all. We all know we're living in rapidly changing times. I think we all know that pace of change has only accelerated further over the course of the last few years. The rate of technological advances, the impact of climate change, the global health issues, these are all transforming how we live at an incessant rate. Our education system, as the very cradle of ideas and innovative thinking, is well placed, is best placed to develop graduates, to develop citizens who can respond to this rapid rate of change and anticipate future challenges. So it is in that context that it is really comforting to know that the Resilient Design Curricula for 21st Century Professionals project will act as a catalyst to trigger an accelerated transformation process and transferable to the wider sector of architecture, engineering and construction. And I believe it will create a working template that we can replicate across all higher education institutions. So this is a truly exciting, inspiring project. I want to also pay tribute to all our architectural students and educators. I want to thank you for believing in this. We are honoured to be able to partner with you from a funding point of view, but it is your passion, your leadership and your belief that your profession has both an opportunity and an obligation to lead when it comes to the whole area of sustainable development. I'm truly excited to see the output of your work, and it's my great honour to hand you over to Hugh Campbell, who will begin to outline on behalf of the partners the deliverables of this really exciting project. Thank you for having me today.
Many thanks, Minister, and many thanks, Jennifer and colleagues. My name is Hugh Campbell. I'm Professor of Architecture at UCD, and we at UCD are really delighted to be part of this project. The importance of the response to climate change, the climate emergency, the need for architecture and the built environment to find ways of contributing to climate action and adaptation can't be understated. All of us, I think, individually and in our institutions are already working at how it is that we can educate our students to meet those challenges. But what's wonderful about this project is that we are coming together. We are sharing our knowledge, our expertise, our different perspectives in meeting that challenge. And we now, through the resources that this project is allowing us to avail of, we're really going to be able to capitalize on that and to build capacity in all kinds of important ways. Not only is there the network of the 6 architecture programs across Ireland, but of course there's also a larger network of partners in enterprise, in the profession, in the industry more generally. And these partners will bring their knowledge and their expertise to bear and share it with us, and of course share where they think we need to be taking more action and where they think our graduates need to be better equipped. We will also have a larger network of partners encompassing local authorities, other public bodies, and professional bodies, who again will work with us and partner with us in ensuring the sort of, let's say, the real world application and relevance of everything that we're doing. An important first step or early step for us in this journey over the next 3 years is going to be identifying the things that we don't know, the gaps that there are in our curriculum, and therefore the opportunities that there are to work within those gaps and to develop the new knowledge that we need and to develop the new methods and methodologies that we need in terms of teaching and equipping and the skills that our students will need. So that identification of gaps across the 6 programs and the working together to think about how those gaps can then begin to be filled, the opportunities that they present is going to be a really key part of this project. It's really the basis on which we will then begin to act. And I'm going to hand over now to my colleague, Professor Kevin McCartney at the Cork Centre for Architectural Education, and to say a bit more about another aspect of the project.
Thank you, Hugh. In the Cork Centre for Architectural Education, we're enthusiastic to join this initiative. Our centre was created by partnership between 2 distinct higher education institutions, and we hope that our 16 years of experience in delivering education through cross-institutional collaboration will serve this new partnership project, which involves all 7 institutions delivering architecture education. Having identified the areas that need strengthening in the schools of architecture, in the gap analysis referred to by Hugh Campbell, we will start to fill these gaps by creating a collection of continuing professional development modules that will support the teachers in the School of Architecture in reflecting upon and expanding their knowledge and skills in supporting architecture students. The resilient curricula will challenge students to develop a deep appreciation of the significance of sustainability and to enhance their skill in working with others to design sustainable environments. And we, their tutors, will have to do the same. Visiting experts from industry and enterprise will join academics in the creation of these new CPD modules for the benefit of both educators and construction professionals. This will augment our current capacity to devise and deliver a 21st century curriculum for architecture students. We aspire to bring together a suite of complementary continuing professional development modules, which will be delivered in different geographical locations, but they will be mutually recognised by the participating institutions to enable individuals to gradually accrue credits for a new Level 9 award in architecture and climate action. This CPD activity will foster a new network across education and industry with a mutual passion to tackle the climate change crisis. 12 years ago, UCC became the first university in the world to be awarded a green flag for the foundation of environmental education. Work is currently underway to map all of UCC research activity onto the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. MTU is participating in both of the new HCI Pillar 3 awards for climate action, which were announced this year. MTU is leading the project, Ireland's Knowledge Centre for Carbon and Climate, as well as contributing to the resilient curricula. Having initiated this framework with 7 partners to draw out and disseminate through continuing professional development the wealth of experience and expertise distributed across the country, I'm confident that a resilient curricula will make a radical contribution not only to education, but to the physical development of sustainable housing in a sustainable built environment for Ireland. And now I will hand over to our partner in Waterford from the South East Technological University, Ms. Moira Henry.
Thank you, Kevin. Muragíomh Tróna, Moira Nic Henry is anam dom, tá mé mo cean rinne rinne halteachta agus na timpachta tógatha anseo in Ollscoil Technoliaachta an Iar Eisgurt. Tá me déile gidir an Iran agus na Mic-Léin fear hásta a bheith mar cuid den tionscanmh cófartíochta seo ina bhfuil na sé scoil alteachta in Éireann ag teacht le chéile le hafraidhnú a dhéanamh curriculum dar gúid le dulin le géir chéim an athrú ráide agus leis an néarcéim tithiachta sa tír. We are all now familiar with the old Irish term mehel that describes how neighbours would come together to assist in the saving of crops or other tasks. This is now our mehel, where we as providers of architectural education in Ireland are coming together to reform our curriculum to ensure that our graduates have the skill sets, values and power of creative thought needed to face current and future challenges in housing and climate. A unique and fundamental component of architectural education is our working through doing philosophy in the design studio. Students spend most of their time working on design projects which grow in complexity as they advance through their years of study. These studio projects are based often on real-life design challenges and involve working collaboratively with local communities, local stakeholders, local authorities, and quite often decision makers. The results of these early design studies often act as a springboard for projects to grow and to be realised. With this HCI project, we plan to deepen our relationship with local partners and industry specialists and pilot a series of experimental projects which will address in particular the national housing crisis and climate change. Some of these projects will be shared across the 6 schools. There will be shared practices, shared purposes and shared engagement. However, the location of the 6 schools, some in cities, some more regional, some on our coastline, will add uniqueness to the individual efforts. The power of place, context, microclimates, ecosystems, typology, and most importantly, the local communities from each of our regions will be celebrated and form part of our solutions. We look forward to the challenge of creating sustainable shelters and communities for all. We have a strong tradition here in the Southeast in delivering graduates of built environment related courses, both in the areas of design and craft. Along with my colleagues and students here in the Department of Architecture and Built Environment in the newly formed SETU, we pledge our commitment to this project. We thank Minister Harris and his team for trusting us and funding this project. We look forward to continuing our collaboration with our colleagues in the other Irish schools of architecture. Above all, we want to use our creative talents to be proactive and to play our part in finding sustainable solutions to climate change and housing. Gurmina Mahagiv. I will now hand over to our partner in TU Dublin, Emma Gagan.
Thank you, Maura, and good afternoon, everyone. So here at TU Dublin School of Architecture, we are truly delighted to be involved in this project, the project that's being launched today. The tradition of architectural education here at Bolton Street goes back a long way. It's almost 100 years, and our approaches to teaching and learning have always developed in response to changes in societal needs and challenges. However, as Jennifer and the Minister and others have already outlined, and we all already know, the climate crisis globally and the housing crisis in Ireland particularly represent challenges that require urgent, immediate and innovative responses. In this project, we propose to work with the live and long-established undergraduate curricula across all the partner institutions as a testing ground for innovation and critical evaluation of our pedagogical approaches. This differentiates the Resilient Design curriculum from many other HCI projects in that we will be simultaneously interrogating and revising our teaching methods in real time as we continue to deliver architectural education. The project also proposes a framework for shared learning and critical review across the partner institutions, and this will be augmented by shared peer review processes with our external stakeholders, and many of you are here today. In this, we also recognise that students are key stakeholders in the project, and as future architects and built environment practitioners, they'll ultimately be the measure of its success. Over 3 years ago in TU Dublin, we piloted our own first steps towards curriculum change, and we placed the UN SDGs and climate literacy at the core of what we do. Students, educators and external stakeholders were all involved in this process of co-creation and co-learning, and we bring the experience and reflections from this pilot to the national project being launched this afternoon. We really hope that students from all the partner institutions will engage with us in this journey, because the future is yours after all. We also know that the proposed curricular transformation and development of new knowledge and skills will require a real shift in our pedagogy, in which the design of resilient, regenerative and carbon neutral buildings and environments are prioritised and valued. TU Dublin brings the experience developed through our own curriculum change pilot, coupled with significant existing research expertise in building performance, in energy retrofit, in housing. And last week, the new National Policy on Architecture was launched here in TU Dublin and Grange Gorman, underlining the important role of architecture and architects in implementing climate action and achieving our societal objectives to create beautiful, inclusive and resilient places. While this project is only 3 years in duration, we've chosen to invest in the early years of our programmes so that the development of our students and the evolution of our curricula extend beyond the project time frame. Through this project, we aim to create a lasting impact on education, industry and society. Thank you. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague from Atlantic Technological University, Mr. Emmett O'Doherty.
Thank you, Emma. I am going to outline the bearing that this project will have on capturing a national Thank you, Emma. I'm going to outline the bearing this project will have on capturing a national standard step change for professional accreditation across the 6 schools of architecture in Ireland and the influence it can deliver on regional and national policies. I'm speaking from the Sligo campus of the Atlantic Technological University, home to Ireland's newest School of Architecture. We recently completed the 3rd year of our accreditation process with the Royal Institute of the Architects of Ireland, the RIAI. The accreditation process is a critical element in ensuring national and international standards and best practice are achieved. The Resilient Design Curricula will see all 6 schools of architecture work closely with our external professional body, the RIAI, as partners, together tackling the critical climate emergency and housing crisis issues. Working collaboratively, partners will ensure that internal HEI QA approvals will be sought through regular project review stage gates. In tandem, regular meetings with the RIAI and the designated school accreditation coordinators will ensure that the external professional body accreditation processes will continue as scheduled, adopting new requirements as they are informed by the outputs of this project and adopted as part of the new RIAI education policy. Together, we will re-accredit our programs in line with the professional body education policy. This will involve a review of the key priorities as the new standard for education is developed to include and further advance sustainability-driven competencies in the education of architects to ensure that best practice is also responsible practice. All professional body accreditation approvals will be aligned under the 3-year project term to include requirements for climate action and sustainable housing as priorities. This in turn will inform the report recommendations from our representative professional bodies to influence national and EU policy development for best practice and impact the Professional Qualifications Directive. This project promotes and models this leadership beyond the project duration by developing the architectural curriculum in line with international, European and national priorities to produce empowered, relevant and responsible graduates. Our students and my colleagues at the Atlantic TU School of Architecture embrace our role as the educational centre in the region and leaders in our field, contributing to regional and national policy development. We believe that as part of this project, we can support the government's vision for Project Ireland 2040 that was launched on our Sligo campus by Minister Harris and his government colleagues in 2018. Through supporting discourse and active engagement around the transformative role that architecture can have on climate action and the housing crisis, transforming the regional hubs, towns and villages in the northern and western region so that people, businesses and communities are equipped to further both our national economic output and our social growth. This project will promote development-oriented policies that support productive activities, decent job creation, entrepreneurship, creativity and innovation, and encourage the formalisation and growth of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises regionally and nationally. I will now hand over to my colleague at the University of Limerick, Professor Merritt Buckles.
Thanks very much, Emmett. I'm going to talk for a moment about communication. Obviously, one of the most important aspects of the project is how we communicate what we're doing and how we're doing it with our stakeholders, with the public, with the HEA. And I think this is an extremely important component of the project. At the center of it lies really the championing of the work of the students and the other collaborators, the industry partners that we're bringing into this project. I think that architecture schools are hotbeds of new ideas and new thinking, and getting that work out there, sharing the knowledge and expertise that's being built up around climate change and how we address it is absolutely critical. Tied to that is how we enable communication with our regions, telling the story of this transformation in the curriculum that we're making, of the values that underpin that transformation and how they're connected to daily life of the citizens of this country. I think this is really crucial. Tracking the impact of all of the multiple step changes that we are going to be making is a really important part of communicating. We need to be able to influence the profession and influence the construction industry by explaining, well, these are the impacts that that the curriculum change is having, and how we think about architecture, how we think about construction, how we think about how we're making the future. We're extremely keen to transfer what we are learning in this process across the wider HEI landscape, and I think very importantly communicate the value of architects, of architectural intelligence, of architectural thinking within the broader cultural and technological activities that Ireland needs to undertake in order to sponsor the kind of system changes that we must do to address the climate emergency. I think, from a UL perspective, this chimes very well with our commitment to experimentation in education, our very strong commitment to regional development and supporting the regional economy, and driving the kind of new skills and new knowledge that are going to be needed to remain competitive, both nationally and internationally. So we're very excited about the transformation that this is going to have, and our communication of that as the project moves forward. I'm now going to hand back to Jennifer Boyer. Thank you.
Thank you, Merritt. I think communication is so critical as part of this process. It is the communication between our students, ourselves, and as you said, the citizens, and why architecture is relevant in terms of the value that it offers to society. So really, I'm here to conclude this launch, and I'd just like to thank Minister Simon Harris for being with us live, to all of our project partners, to the project partners here from the universities today, Professor Hugh Campbell at UCD and his team and all his students, Professor Kevin McCartney at the Cork Centre for Architectural Education and his team and all of his students, Ms. Maura Henry at the Southeast Technological University and her team and all of her students, and Ms. Emma Gagan, my colleague at TU Dublin, with her team and all of our students, Mr. Emmett O'Doherty at Atlantic Technological University, with his team and all of his students, and Professor Merritt Buchholz of University of Limerick with his team and all of his students. I suppose colleagues from across the country, thank you very much for all of the preparation and contributions to the workshops to bring us to this point. All of the project partners that spoke here today conveyed a comprehensive, passionate, unique overview on the project in terms of our shared deliverables and aims and ambitions for the prospects of what this can do for our future. I thank you all for your partnership and your commitment to making impact as we set out on this journey. We have a lot to do in 3 years. However, with that level of passion amongst our students and ourselves and our enterprise partners, I'm confident that we will respond to climate change through a proactive, creative, entrepreneurial, and socially responsible design curriculum, which will demonstrate how a deep discipline reflection can provide an accelerated change for common good. Today's presentation is being recorded and will be available online after the event. For more information about the project details, the program, how to get involved, please contact one of the project partners that spoke here today, or go to the temporary project landing page at tudublin.ie/resilient design curricula. Thank you all for joining us, and best of luck to all of us as we embark on this journey together.